Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our talk series during our World Breastfeeding Week, that is from August 1st to August 7th. I'm Kritika Patel. On behalf of Nutrition Group Sitara IIT Bombay, will be interviewing Dr. Jayashree Jaykrishnan in today's talk. Now, for the audience, I would like to introduce you to them. So, Dr. Jayashree Jaykrishnan is an eminent lactation expert and she specializes in clinical management of breastfeeding. She is the director of Happy Mom, Pregnancy to Motherhood. She's also a member of Breastfeeding Promoting Network of India, that is BPNI, and she is currently based in Chennai, where she is the first person to introduce the concept of Aponeto sessions. That's truly amazing, ma'am. Our previous talks in this series have been mainly focused upon breastfeeding and the techniques related to breastfeeding. Today's topic is slightly different from that, but it's equally important. So today we are going to discuss about the sleeping patterns of a baby. So, ma'am, can you shed some light on that?
So, as you said, sleeping, the sleep is something very important for all living creatures. So, the sleep is something which gives us more energy, like refreshment to face the next new day. So, for the newborn, the sleep is also so important that they sleep for 16 to 18 hours in a day. So, when you tell something like 16 to 18 hours in a day, everyone thinks, oh my God, the baby sleeps at one stretch. No, it's not like that. They have a short cycle of sleep pattern. So many new mothers know after they gone with the childbirth, their expectation towards the baby is like, okay, fine, I'm going to feed, then the baby is going to sleep. But when they don't understand that the baby is having a very short nap and they have a very short feeding times, which will have irregular sleeping pattern, like they don't know the schedule when the baby will sleep, because the baby doesn't know the schedule, like day and night sleep. That's what they say, sleep wake cycle. The sleep wake cycle is not being scheduled for the newborns. So it will take at least 6 weeks for some babies. For some babies, it will take even 3 months to get that sleep cycle of light and day, and like night and daytime, dark and light. So this rhythm will take about 6 weeks to get scheduled. So when this is not been prepared by the mothers, no, so their expectation towards a newborn is different, and what they see in reality is very different. So most mothers' major complaint is my baby is always on feeds during the night times, but it was very quiet and calm. I'm able to regularize things during the daytimes. So the baby doesn't know the schedule of daytime sleep and nighttime sleep. So it takes slowly to get into that sleep wake cycle. So talking about the baby sleep pattern, it's always a big topic for us to deal with the mother's breastfeeding along with the baby sleep pattern.
Yes, ma'am. So, just out of curiosity, I wanted to know, is there something sleep pattern before the delivery of a baby during the pregnancy? Is there something like that?
Yes, actually, this is my own experience. I'm telling you. Most of the time, when we talk with the expecting mothers, if you talk with the when they go to bed, no, most of the mothers will say, "I go to bed by 11, 12." Otherwise, if I go early, also I don't have a sound sleep. I tend to have a disturbed sleep. I tend to keep rolling. I keep change positions. So what happens is the baby's sleep pattern generally develops from fifth month of pregnancy. So this schedule is been almost been followed by the baby from the womb onwards. That's why we tell the mothers, try to go to bed early. Don't be keep watching the mobile. Don't be keep watching television or system. Try to create like a pattern for yourself during pregnancy, like the daytime. You keep yourself working. Keep telling the baby, okay, fine, I'm going to go for work. I'm doing this. Make them as a part of the schedule. At night time, we tell them to put a certain set of music. So whenever the music is on, the baby is being accustomed to the type, like, okay, it's a night time, we have to go for bed. So this is being made as a schedule. But only for certain mothers, they're able to make it up. But most of the mothers, no, they don't understand when they are first time pregnancy, no, they don't understand how far it will impact them in the post delivery days. But even if they are gone with the schedule also, very few has an change in that pattern. That is, if they have been really working hard, like going to bed early and getting up early in the pregnancy period, Only for some, the baby will have that night sleeping pattern has been changed. But this is not only sleeping alone. During pregnancy period, they have a lot of other issues to be taken into consideration. Their excess body weight, they'll be having issues with digestion, they'll be having physical ailments, anything. So it's just, I can't just say like, okay, fine, you have to sleep like that. So it's not like the generation what we had earlier. So moms, grandmoms, they used to say, I work the whole day and I used to sleep like anything at night time. But if you ask this generation moms, no, even though I work the whole day, the night time I have a very difficult task to have a very good sleep. So I feel that has an impact in the this generation newborns. Because when you ask the last generation newborns, most of our grandmoms, they say, no, you don't have be waking at night time. You used to sleep. I used to feed. You used to keep napping. That's a response they give. So I find that gap is there in generations.
So that's very interesting to know, ma'am. So basically, it's the pattern that a mother tends to follow the child, tends to show that the child follows after birth.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes I have noticed, even in personal life also, so I have seen that parents try to align the sleeping patterns of child with theirs. Like they don't let the child to sleep in daytime. Like no, no, don't let the child sleep, and so that the child will sleep at night, so that they can also sleep peacefully. So is it healthy for the child?
See, what you're saying will be maybe for a 4 month old or 6 month old. But if I'm telling about a newborn within like 2 months old and all, you can't create this pattern because they'll have a frequent feeding schedules. Within the frequent feeding schedules, they nap while feeding itself. The moment they take the baby out of the breast, the baby will wake up. So most mothers will say, whenever my baby is in my arms, the baby is sleeping. The moment I put the baby inside the cradle or in the bed or somewhere else, no, the baby wakes up. So what should I do? The reason is the baby being used to that warmth, coziness as it's there in the womb. It gets the same sense of coziness when they are in the breastfeeding. So this transition of the womb, from the womb to the outside world, it takes, as I said earlier, maybe 6 weeks, 2 months, or 3 months. Once they get into the transition period, after they get used to our environment, most babies know they get used to the environment after 3 months. They tend to know, okay, this is the room. They keep looking at one spot. If there's one for example, there's a AC light is blinking, the baby will be keep on looking that AC light. So every time when they feed in that same position, the baby will get accustomed to seeing that light, or there's some a night lamp, or if some colorful paper is going in the room. So they get the spots at home. So they tend to feel that they are in the home place and they be very comfortable. They go to the sleeping mode, and training in that way, it's fine, but not like disrupting a baby when it wants to sleep and making the baby like voluntarily, like making the baby to sit and going with it is not actually advisable. But having a sleeping pattern itself will work out after 4 or 5 months only. So you can't create a schedule for newborn sleep pattern. There's no protocol, there's no schedule, because as I said, the sleep wake cycle, it takes its rhythm after 6 weeks or 2 months only. So during this point, you can't schedule it, or you can't find create a like bedtime pattern. This will not work for the newborns.
So, ma'am, as you said that till 3 months after the birth, the baby needs the similar feeling like the baby was in womb. So for that, is it compulsory for the mother to be around the baby all the time during the child is sleeping?
See, there's something called the secured feeling what the baby is going to get. So most of the time when they are being with the mother, no, the baby gets to the pattern of mother's body smell, the milk smell, and that coziness, the warmth. So even if the mother gets up to go to the restroom, the moment she comes back, no, the baby will be awake. They could sense the mother's body smell so well, no? So the moment it's not there itself, they start to wake up. Another thing is, even if the baby is in deep sleep, if a mother comes inside the room, the baby able to sense that and will start to just wiggle their hands and legs. So they have so much of sense to acknowledge whether the mother is around or not. And after 4 or 5 months of time, no, they get used to one person of being with them in bedtime. So when that person is around, they've been very comfortable in the sleeping schedule. But if that person is not there always, it's on and off. That person, it can be anyone. It can be the mother or the caretaker who's looking after the baby. But when that person is not there on and off, they find so insecure. What happens that do disturb in the sleeping schedule? They tend to wake up at night. They tend to cry at night because they are not been so confident that the person is always there with them during the sleeping pattern. So that's why we tell them, okay, fine. If you're making sure that your baby is going to sleep with you all the time, try to get along with that. But if like one day if a mother is there, 2 days if she's not there, she's going for a night shift, the baby finds it so insecure. It just shows in the pattern of they tend to get up in night time and they cry a lot. It's very difficult for them to manage. So this and all has to be decided during the pregnancy period itself. When it's been planned, decided who will be looking after the baby after childbirth, who will be taking care of the baby once the mother goes to work. When all these things have been discussed and planned in detail during the pregnancy period, it helps them for the post-delivery days also.
So in a way, there's a bigger role of father in this also, because
Yes.
the child also needs the father to be acquainted with.
Yes. So there are some mothers will say, my baby is very comfortable with my mother-in-law. Even if I'm not there, my baby is very comfortable because they've been used from the day one time, from the time the baby is born. The mother-in-law also been along with the mother, so they've been used to it. But if both myself is not there, my mother-in-law is not there, means my baby is very cranky. So it shows how far they get themselves so attached to the person whom they are from the time they've been in this world.
So similarly, the warmth that the child is craving can be provided by a father
Yes,
if the child is trained accordingly.
yes, sure. That's what nowadays now kangaroo mother care is not like only for mothers. Kangaroo mother care can be done by dads also. So we tell them put the baby and skin to skin, wrap the baby around and have a walk. When the baby is in the skin to skin contact and they been keep walking, the baby will have a feeling as if they're still in the womb, and that skin to skin warmth will have that coziness for them. They'll be very comfortable. So only for the feeding time we have to let the baby to be with the mother. But otherwise, to comforting them, like making them to pacify, to just to cuddle them and all, father has a very major role to console the baby cry and all. So it's not like it's only the mother's job. It's completely the whole family has to be in part of the breastfeeding journey.
That's really very informative, ma'am. So another thing that I have encountered in few of the cases, like what is the optimal time for a baby to sleep, like at a stretch?
Okay, so this differs baby to baby. I can't say like randomly this is the number of hours like that. It really differs baby to baby. For some babies, no, after 3 months, 4 months time itself, some mothers will say, if I put my baby to bed by 8 or 9 o'clock, it tends to get up by 4 or 5 o'clock in the early morning. But some mothers will start to report, my baby needs that breastfeeding time during night times, like every 3 hours or 4 hours once my baby takes for feeds. So letting the baby to sleep at one stretch, no, it differs baby to baby. We can't say it as a range for everyone. So for instance, babies after 4 months or 5 months, no, for some babies they sleep like 6 to 8 hours at one stretch. For some babies, they need that nighttime feeds like every 3 hours or 4 hours once they need feeds. For some babies, no, just to make sure the mother is next to her, like they start to keep feeding the during the night hours. The reason is they want to make sure that the mother is around. So this actually differs baby to baby, depends upon the situation, family support, everything. Based on everything, it differs. For sometimes, no, this continues even for 1 year, 2 year old also. This continues. I tend to listen from some mothers like even at 2 to 3 years, my baby is like always at night feeds. It doesn't leave me at all. So when we ask how they have been looking after the baby in the daytime, means the mother will be on work at daytime. So of course, what happens is the baby is missing the mom at the daytime. So just to make sure the baby, the mother is around at night time, no, it just keeps on sucking pattern. So it doesn't denote that the baby is literally in hunger to have that feed. It's just to make sure my mom is there next to me. They are into that night feeding pattern. So to bring that confidence level, it's only the mother has to train the baby. Even if I'm there, if I'm not there, there's another one to look after you. That kind of confidence the baby has to come up. So this comes as like joint work only, as I said. So it's not like one single person job. So it's no particular schedule in bringing up the baby sleeping pattern. It eventually grows as the baby grows.
If a child is sleeping, so but how does a mother can know if the child is sleeping properly, or the child is having some issues while sleeping, or how can a mother can see the cues while sleeping?
See, generally before going to sleep, the baby will be fussy, keep rubbing the eyes, will be very dull, will be keep on having the crying pattern will be different than the hunger cry. So only a mother who's been breastfeeding the baby can understand the difference in the cry, whether the baby is crying for a feed or to sleep or just to be held. My baby is crying. She can understand with the crying sounds itself. She can understand. So this is for going for a sleep. But at the time of sleep itself, you have a kind of non-rapid eye movements and rapid eye movements. This is more of theoretical thing. So it's non-rapid eye movements. It's like the baby is into very deep sleep. The full body into rest. There's a lot of blood circulation. Your body is fully relaxed. So there not much of brain activity is happening. But this rapid eye movements is that there's a brain activity is happening, there's a dream is coming. So these things are into rapid eye movements. So most babies will develop this rapid eye movements only after like a 6 weeks or not maybe after 6 months or 8 months period only this rapid eye movements will start to come, where 30% of like dreaming things will start to come. Otherwise, no, this non-rapid eye movements where they'll into very deep sleep. Sometimes they tend to twitch their body. They tend to do the sucking during the sleep pattern itself. They do the sucking reflex, like the jaw starts to move. This is all will happen in the non-rapid eye movements. But as they grow up, the percentage of going with non-rapid and rapid eye movements eventually gets balanced as the cycle sleep cycle rhythm also is getting improved, no, this is also will get balanced.
So, ma'am, sometimes you've seen that during sleep, a child sometimes shakes, shivers. So people say that the child might be dreaming. Is it something like that?
Okay, so this is called the startling reflex. Sometimes when the sleeping itself, they tend to move the hands and legs. They just drop up and down like that. That's why we tell them to have the baby close to the mother, have coziness. So having the nesting, they say. Even the preterms and all, no, when they are sleeping, they keep a cloth wrapped around these newborns just to keep them that cozy feeling as if they are in the womb. So when they are very cozy, it's been completely occupied. They'll not do much of movements. But when there's like a free end for them, no, they tend to do startling reflex. They tend to move the body a little bit. So this is actually normal, nothing to worry. But if there's frequent happening of this thing only, we have to check with the pediatrician. Otherwise, there's nothing to worry about.
Okay, ma'am. And one more thing is sometimes the baby cries while sleeping, and the mother just feeds the child laying down only. So, is it safe to feed the child like that while laying down and the child is sleeping?
Yeah, this is actually very I can't say conflicting or controversial. Each one has their own personal views. Generally, there's no such term like saying no to lying down and feeding. There's no such terms have been given. But out of some experience, some people will say it's better to sit and feed for 3 to 4 months and then go with lying down feeding. One of the reason is so that the latch is proper when you sit and feed. The latch will not be so much in a proper position when you lie down and feed as if the baby is very small. After that, after third and fourth month, as the baby is grown up, it will be better in latching and positioning, so you can go with lying down feeding. But certain pediatricians are worried with ear infections and all. So it again depends upon the pediatrician whom the mother visits. So certain pediatrician encourages, certain pediatrician says no to it. And generally after 4 months, I personally don't find a restriction to tell the mother no to lie down and feed and all, because it's like you'll be feeding like a pro. You don't know when you'll be feeding, when you'll be sleeping. So if a mother is feeding for a 2 year 3 year old and all, we can't expect the mother to sit and feed all the time, so it will be mostly lying down feeding only. So generally I personally tell them for 3 months you can sit and feed. After that, try to go with the lying down position at the night time. Daytime you can sit and feed. So that's a way of building the night sleeping pattern. So whenever the mother lies down and feeds down, so the baby will start to understand it's a night time, and they'll start to develop the night sleeping pattern also.
Okay. That's really helpful, ma'am. Many mothers will find it very helpful.
Thank
So
you.
another thing that is a bit of my query is there something called an optimum temperature for the child's sleep? Like what environment should be created so the child has a proper sleep?
See, if you ask me, the temperature changes as the baby grows. Uh, if a newborn, just today the baby is born, no, the temperature now it's actually rainy season. Generally in the summer also, the temperature will be like 28, 29. The mother will be sweating profusely, but the baby will be warm. That's the temperature baby needs. Little coldness or little kind of chillness, which makes the baby to be awake, and they start to feel uncomfortable. They'll be keep on crying, and the baby needs to be held a lot. So these things will occur. So if the baby is in the warm kind of surrounding, no, they sleep better also. So this will be the criteria for first 2 months at least. After 2 months or 3 months, you can see the change in temperature. The baby starts to sweat a lot. They need a little more air. They need to have the room temperature still more cooler little bit. So eventually they tend to get adjusted to our body temperature by 4 or 5 months of time. So this depends upon the baby's weight also, and also the whether the baby is a term baby or premature baby. We have to consider all these things. We can't just put like all babies into the same temperature format, because premature babies takes a longer time to get adjusted with a normal temperature compared to the term babies. So based on that, usually they get themselves adjusted after 3 or 4 months of the time.
Okay, so it's like they are accustoming themselves to the temperature outside the womb. Initially,
The transition period takes 3 months for them to come from the womb to the outside world environment. So this depends also about the outside climate. Also depends. See, now as it's a rainy season, even the fan is fine for them. But if it's in the summer time, for 4 month old, they need to have a air conditioner. So it all depends upon the outside temperature also.
ma'am, is there some similar conditions for the lighting also? The lighting in the room where they are kept.
Yes. So mostly, these babies like night times, as the mother is feeding, most of the time they don't switch off the lights. So as they are feeding, sitting and feeding, no, so they don't switch off the lights. But by 3 or 4 months, once they start to do the night feeding pattern in lying position, they start to either dim the light or switch off the light, which makes the baby to easily understand it's a sleepy time. So of course that has an indication for having that sleep cycle. That's what we say, that light and darkness having that rhythm, it takes 3 months time for the baby to get accustomed.
So, for a newborn, just who is born, a child who is born just 2 days back. So, what do you recommend the lighting for that baby?
See, lighting for that baby, actually it's next to the mother's breast only. So it doesn't affect directly. If you're putting the baby like exactly direct to the light only, it disturbs a lot. But the general lighting what we have is fine. No major adjustment is required actually. But after 3 months, 4 months, of course, there'll be distraction. The baby starts to look here and there, attention variation will be there, concentration will be varying. So to bring the baby back to that attention, no, you have to feed, you have to sleep, means they have to adjust with the lightings and sounds also. Even sounds matters. So you have to have a very quiet surrounding. If there's some kind of a disturbance in the sounds or there's some kind of noisiness, the baby will easily get distracted. But for a newborn, no, even if the mother is feeding and there's so much noise, the baby will be peacefully feeding only because it's in the safe zone. It's always there with the mother. So there's a difference for the newborn as well as for the 3-month-old. So newborns, they are very happy when they're in the breast.
Yeah. So, ma'am, is there something proper bedding for the child? Like on what materials they should be put, what kind of mattress to provide for the child? Should we
Yeah.
give pillows or not?
See, usually I personally tell them like the mattress has to be flat bed, no cushion or spring model thing, and don't use pillows, these bolsters and all. It should be a flat bed, and the baby has to lie down on the back, not on the stomach. The first few days, maybe the newborns, no, the first 1 week or 2 week, they tend to lie down on the side. It's not like the baby knows to lie down on the side because they are very puny, no, they tend to lie down on the side. That is fine. But make sure you don't cover with too many blankets to cover them. What they do is they rest the baby on top of it, they put another blanket and they keep a bolster next to it. So we don't know whether the baby may get stuck in the breathing pattern or what. So it's better to keep the bed very flat and let the baby to sleep as it is, and make sure the mother can sleep next to the baby. So in that way, it's best instead of keeping too many things around the bed.
Also, is there something like a recommended clothes for sleeping for a baby?
So they have some jumpsuits like which covers the baby fully. That will be better.
Because, ma'am, I've seen some parents during winters, they tend to put so many sweaters and covers on the child, and the child is kind of suffocating in that.
Yeah, this happens even here. Even in Chennai, even it's very hot. No, they put the baby in such a cushion bed and they carry the baby and come. Even in hot summer, the baby would have sweated a lot on her back and her head and all when we take the baby out. So it's like misunderstood. It shouldn't have a lot of temperature. At the same time, it shouldn't lose the body temperature also. The temperature has to be maintained according to the outside temperature. So basically, wherever they are living, get along with the environment and the temperature and get along with the dressing of the baby. So if they are in the normal temperature, the general jumper suit, they say, like covering the baby from head to toe, that is fine. That actually is comfortable for the baby to sleep. Not required to cover the baby with anything. And usually for the newborns, you need to cover the head with the head cap and mittens. For the hands and legs has to be covered at least for 2 months period. Later on, it's not mandatory.
So basically, clothes that keep the child's body temperature normal, and also the comfort of the child is important.
Yeah, according to the regular climate what we have.
How does the sleeping patterns of a child or the sleep requirements of a child help in keeping the child healthy?
See, sleep, as I told you, it gives so much refreshment, energy, and more of brain development. Even some hormones are being secreted during the sleep that helps in the growth development of the baby also. So its overall development happens when the baby is sleeping. So it doesn't mean when I say this, no, many mothers will be so scared. Oh my God, my baby is not sleeping at a stretch for 2-3 hours or 4 hours and all. Most babies will sleep on the breast itself. The eyes will be sleeping, the mouth will be working. So that's how they are. So it's not like they need to be sleeping in one position for 3-4 hours at one stretch. So as far as the baby is sleeping on the breast, it's fine. So nothing to worry on to it. Once in a while they sleep like 3-4 hours at one stretch. Not like every feed the baby will not sleep for 3-4 hours. I'm talking for babies who are like 1 or 2 months old. But babies after 3-4 months, no, they start to have a longer sleep pattern. So it's generally said 40% of their childhood days will go in sleep, like within 2 years of age. So they'll have a sound daytime sleep once or twice in daytime, and then have a very long night sleep, like 9 hours to 10 hours also they sleep at night time. So sleep is important for general well-being of mental well-being as well as physical well-being.
So, how to distinguish between a normal sleep or a sleep in which a child is uh, facing some difficulties?
Difficulties, it's maybe some health related issues, ma'am.
Yeah.
So we can't generally say it. So if a baby is having like a regurgitation where the baby like spits a lot while sleeping and all, the sleeping position has to be changed. Or some babies will have a kind of a breathing which the breathing noise can be heard loud. So all these things is related to health conditions. So there's no generalized, you can't say like that. So according to the health conditions only, we need modification. But if there's no such specific health issues, means we can sleep the way it wants to. So there's no restriction. As far as the baby is being on the back on sleeping position, it's fine. We generally tell them not to sleep on the stomach. Try to make the baby to sleep on the back or on the sides, but not on the stomach. Because the issue of the sudden infant death syndrome is there, no? For that reason alone, we tell them not to sleep on the stomach.
Yes. So all these conditions, all these things need to be kept in mind while making a baby sleep.
Yeah.
So ma'am, we can say that healthy sleep makes a baby healthy.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. So with this sentence, we would like to conclude this talk with Dr. Jayashree. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us, for enlightening us about these crucial issues. On behalf of Sitara IIT Bombay, I would like to show you my gratitude. Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope all the viewers would have gained a lot of knowledge from your talk. And my request to viewers is that please continue watching all the other talks in this series. They will surely help you.
Thank you. Thank you, one and all.